Here is the example of some behavior that I see within BLRadar, which is not what I would expect considering what I used to see in HS3's BLRadar. I have a simple setup with just a single active zone and two motion sensors that are in that zone that can be seen within the BLRadar sensors. If I go to active zone and expand it, go to the bottom, I see that both test motion sensor 1 and test motion sensor 2 are members of it. And by the same token, if I look at test motion sensor 1, it's a member of the test active zone. And the same with motion sensor 2, it's a member of the test active zone. So that's good. But if I go to the device, each of these motion sensors have a timeout period of 1 minute. So if I trigger this on and then do a screen refresh, I see that that motion sensor triggers to echo, and the active zone also triggers to echo as you would expect. And if I refresh, I see the
Here's what I found.
I see the clock ticking up, and I can't use that word because the device here seems to trigger based on that. So if I look at the logs, I'll see that the device went to 100% as you would expect because I just clicked it on, and I get echo for that device from BLRadar, and I get the active zone triggered as well. Going back to devices, we can see that we're at 36 seconds and it should expire in a minute, which is the recovery time on this motion sensor. Refresh again, we're at 47 seconds. Refresh again. And there we go. Exactly as you would expect. Go back to the log and we see that no echo for sensor 1, and the recovery time has expired and the active zone has changed to off. Everything's exactly as you would expect. Here's the problem now. If I go back to test motion sensor 1 and click on again, refresh, nothing. Click on again, refresh, nothing. Go to the tools, go to the log, and you'll see that here are the two entries for my clicking it on, and the CAPI control shows it going on, and yet still BLRadar and the motion sensor are suppressed in status change. There's no change in what it does. So again, if I click on a third time, refresh, still nothing. However, if I trigger the bottom one, then that one will work. But once they're triggered, they can't re-trigger through an on. Sending the value to 100 or setting the value to 100 used to, in HS3's BLRadar, cause a re-trigger of that motion sensor exactly as you would expect. So that is the underlying issue. Separate from that, and just questions, can these big icons made to match these smaller ones, they stand out, and the only devices that do, can they match the size of that icon? And then again, Biddly stuff. Can we make for active zones that match the occupancy look that you had in HS3? It doesn't have to be an animated GIF, just something that's not another motion sensor appearance. And the text by default is no echo and echo for motion sensors and active zones, whereas before, I can't remember the verbiage, but it basically had something different that distinguished the triggering of an active zone from the triggering of a motion sensor. Again, those are small items that are not that big of a deal. And separately, can you trigger an active zone directly? Can an active zone be set to on and trigger the active zone directly, or does that always have to happen through triggering the members of the active zone? I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that it has to happen one way or the other. It was just a question to better understand how this works. Does it always triggered by its members, or can an active zone be triggered directly? But those questions aside, it's this inconsistency on when a motion sensor triggers once that it can't trigger again to trigger the active zone that's the problem. Thanks.